Welcome back to another video, everyone. Wait, what? It's been a while since I made a video like this, but I need a character to get me back into the cream of Crash Bandicoot. I need a popular character like Cortex, Coco, Entropy, Engine, Nina, or even Crash himself. Let's do some research which character has the most concept arts and stories about their creation. What? Wait, whoa, hold on a second. This is a real concept art for Papu Papu, right? Damn! It's amazing! Chat Papu Papu doesn't exist, he can't hurt you. Chat Papu Papu. Alright, Papu Papu it is then. Papu Papu, or PP for short, isn't exactly a fun favorite character, but he really is an important character in the series because he was the very first boss in the whole franchise. So it's only natural that I make a video about him, even if he doesn't add a whole lot into the actual story of Crash. So welcome to this video of Papu Papu's origin and history. But who in the world would be responsible for a classic Crash Bandicoot design? Who else than Charles Zambilas, who was kind enough to post early concept art on his blog. And here is where he uploaded this ripped Papu. I love this design. It reminds me of a real Tribeman boss who could beat you into atoms with only one hand while killing a lion with his other arm. It's like a rock playing Papu Papu. And the native tribe elements on his design just makes it much cooler. If this would have been the final design, then actually he would have been the only muscular person with proportional physique. After a while I realized he gives off Uncle Iroh vibes in the last season. Especially how you are so used to the fat Papu Papu like we did with Iroh. And they even have the same cloth around their crotch as well. It's perfect. He even stands the same. I love this design. But unfortunately or not, we got the exact opposite, a fat, lazy leader for the tribe of Sanity Island. But after reaching a strong build for the character, he gradually became more and more dumpy. Dumpy, dumpy, dumpy. Must be funny. In a fat man's world. According to the first game's manual, his name means pass me that dish again, mate. So at least that checks out. I mean, what is it? The Smurfs, where every character has a name depending on their habits? Just imagine being called lazy gamer who sits in his room all day, or depressed guy with daddy issues, or the one who wants to kill himself. By the way, can I just stop for a second to point out how late 90s vibe the Crash 1 manual has? It's weird to think that character and level information were only available on these things. But going back to Papu Papu, he is a neutral character in this game. He doesn't side with Cortex or Crash either. All he cares about is to no one to disturb him. Kinda relatable, to be honest. As the Crash Bandicoot 5 states, he's content as long as no one disturbs him. But of course, Crash just so happened to do that, and thus the first boss fight begins. It's not a hard boss fight if you ask me, you just have to wait until he slams down his stick and then jump on his head 3 times. It's not really a hard boss fight, it's a first boss fight, so obviously it's already over. It's not the most complex or interesting boss fight in Crash history, but he was an essential part to establish the core mechanics behind the game and teach the players what to expect later on. You have a stage which is not a regular platformer level. You are against a boss, and the boss usually has 3 health if it's not Engine or Embryo, and you win by getting rid of the boss's health one by one. And after the boss loses 1 life, he becomes more aggressive towards you, making it much harder after each time you hit it. But if you die after already knocking down some of his health, then you have to start all over again, so be careful. He was voiced by David Stiller, who voiced Papu Papu in the first game too. And just as anime girls, he got jiggle physics too. But in the bad areas. And fun fact, he could still kill you after you killed him. What a jackass! But yeah, as of the first game, he was just a forgettable first villain of the Crash universe. Naughty Dog didn't even use him in Crash 2 or 3, because in those games the series kinda got into a weird direction. Like the direction you should take. To the subscribe button down below. It's a good direction, believe me. Are you done? Nice. Actually, one day I want to make a video about how the universe in Crash Bandicoot changed over time, but as the series' focus went into space and the future, Papu Papu and his tribe got forgotten. Until Crash Team Racing, where he got his own track Papu's Pyramid, and just like every other character I covered so far, he is a speed character. It was not intentional, I promise. So Papu Papu was in CTR, but you know what else was in CTR? His icon. Tell me what you see here. Yes, that's Papu for sure, but what do you see exactly? Because if you are like me, and you thought that these were his eyes, this was his nose, and this was his mouth, well, you heard that wrong about that. This is his eyes, this is his nose, and this is his mouth. And this thing, that's his chin. Please tell me I'm not the only one who saw that all wrong for all these years. While researching for this video, I stumbled upon a Reddit post about this, and for 10 minutes straight I was in complete despair. My whole life was a lie. I mean, it does make more sense to make him look angry and not a smiling dude, but my dumb kid brain thought that he was smiling all along, and now I can't unsee it. Like I mentioned earlier, he got his own track, where you can face him as the second boss of the game. He throws red and green beakers at you and the track doesn't help either. Papu's Pyramid is probably the trickiest track in the original game. It has sharp turns, many think plans, and probably the coolest shortcut in the whole game. I like this track. It's hard to get the hang of it, but once you do, it's really fun. Papu's design stayed exactly the same as before. Literally nothing changed, other than his voice. Rather than David Stiller in his game, he was voiced by David Anthony Pizzuto. And this was the first game we actually heard Papu Papu speak, and not just grunt. He speaks in third person about himself, but I think it's not because he's dumb. He's not like you. He just needed to learn English because his native language is, well, it's the language of the natives on the island.
Maybe Papu not eating a big breakfast. You are fast for being so small. Here is key to help. Oxide much bigger problem for you.
But after you beat him, you get access to Glacier Park, and also you can unlock him as a playable character if you get the green gem. Next up, Papu Papu was the first boss yet again in Crash Bash. I said Papu Papu so many times already, and we are only halfway there. It's such a dumb word to say over and over again. So Papu 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 was the first boss in Crash Bash, and he is not difficult yet again. You just have to dodge the floor with lava and then beat the Crash clones he summons and hit him with a... Wait, did I just say he can summon Crash clones? Yes, I did. How? When? Why? What? Who? I don't know. Don't ask when he got magic powers, but he did, okay? You can also get magic powers for the cheap price of £21 today if you call this line today. Good luck, because we are short on magic. But he didn't really have a big role or any significance, so let's get over to... Papu Papu had a much bigger role in this game than ever before. I mean, it wasn't huge or important, I'm just saying that it was bigger than literally nothing, as they were in previous games. Cortex gets captured by Papu's tribes and Crash has to help him to escape. Like I said, his role is not big, it's just bigger than before. But at least we got the first chase sequence of the game, which is cool. Yay. In previous games he just suddenly appeared without any alert, but here, due to Twin Sanity's open-ended level design, you can freely explore Sanity Island and thus the tribesman village as well. I always love the fact that you can see the exact layout of the island, and now you know where Crash and Coco lives in relation to the tribe's village. Other than the humor, these are the things why I love Twin Sanity so much. The exploration, and for the fact that now you have a map inside your head about the Crash universe. And this is the first time we hear him speak his native language. The Papulingo. And this time he was voiced by Dwight Schultz, the same guy who voiced Dingodile in this game. A coincidence? It's not. They just didn't want to hire one more person for the role, so instead they taught Dwight Papulingo so he can speak it now. And with his new voice he got a slightly new design as well. He got a more detailed cloth over his genital area, hallelujah, but he also got tattoos and he became Adidas with the 3 stripes. Next up came the Sane Trilogy, and thus he reappeared as the first boss and the first game, but now he didn't look like a slop of round wood. And he got a new set of tattoos. Weren't tattoos supposed to be unreversible? Like a kid? But other than new and, in my opinion, better tattoos because it portrays him more as a tribal leader, his design stays really unchanged over the years. The crown thing is still on his head and he's just as angry and grumpy. And even dumb. Look at this. I can just wait here until he dies from dizziness. Oh, and talking about dying, he got 5 HP instead of the normal 3. Unless you live in Japan, because in that case, I am really jealous of you. But also for you it would be normal, because in the Japanese release of the original game, Papu Papu had 5 HP instead of the 3 we had in Europe and America. And obviously, he was in City and Nitro Fueled in the same role as he was in the original. Same design as the Sane Trilogy and same voice by Dwight Schultz. But this time, you unlock him by beating him in the boss race. And in Crash Bandicoot 4, it's about time, he got a little Easter egg about himself in the level Rush Hour. Unfortunately, we didn't get a Papu design in Crash 4, but I'm really curious to see how he would look in this new art design and with this new direction the Crash 4 went. Maybe in Crash 5 something will happen with... Well, I wanted to say with everyone's favorite tribe leader, but I don't think Papu has the kind of fanbase as Dingodile, Cortex, Engine or Crash has, or any other character in the series really. He could never achieve the fan favorite title. It's probably due to the lack of appearances and lack of personality. While Oxide was in less games than Papu Papu, he had a great character, and while it's true that he was the main boss in his first game, even if you just race him and hear him talk once or twice, you know he will be a great character with well-defined characteristics. Just look how he doesn't care about the green light at the start of the race, while Papu's whole role for 27 years was he's big, he loves to eat, and he's grumpy. He never really had big roles, and all we know that he's a leader of the tribe on Sanity Island and doesn't like intruders, which is understandable to be fair. I hate it too when somebody comes into my room without me preparing for that very moment for weeks. But I do hope we will see him again. Maybe in Crash 5 or something, because I just can't really see him running around in Crash Team Rumble. But maybe, just maybe, they can even do something with this ripped Papu design and as a hidden boss or as a brand new character in Crash 5. I can't really see that coming, but that would be really cool because I love the design. But until we wait for that moment to come, you can help me to grow the channel by subscribing and liking the video. It would actually mean a lot to me, but don't get emotional because I will call the FBI on you. Well, with that being said, have a nice day and goodbye everyone.